We're alone. In an uncharted part of the galaxy.
Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome back to another episode of Waz Reviews. Alright, I know what you all are thinking. Janelle, your channel is about Star Trek and video games. And whatever else you feel like talking about. When are you going to talk about the new Voyager game? After all, it's been a while since we got a new Star Trek game. Not to mention that there really aren't a whole bunch of Voyager games out there. So Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown? Okay, but I want to reserve my excitement for actual gameplay footage. And then I saw the gameplay trailer, and to be honest, I was pretty lukewarm on it. Don't get me wrong, I love a good strategy game, but I want to see more Trek games that put you in the crew, not necessarily on the bridge, or looking into it. Give me a good first-person or third-person game, a point-and-click adventure, even a platformer, something that makes me feel like I'm part of the crew, getting to know the characters, not just some impersonal, omnipotent being controlling everyone's movements. It's looking at you, Q. Oh, a free demo and a couple of you asking me what I thought about it? Alright, I aim to please. And yes, I'm a little late to the game on this since everyone's been talking about the demo for a while now, but you know what? I don't have a reset button like Captain Janeway, so you're getting it now.
Time's up.
Now, full disclosure, I am playing this game on my laptop, which is pretty alright for editing videos and playing most of the games that I already own. But for this game, even on medium quality graphics, everything ran slowly, and getting my clicks to register was a bit of a challenge. I had to bump down the shadow and reflection quality before the game ran smoothly, but to be honest, it still looks pretty alright. Alright, with all the settings out of the way, let's begin our voyage into the unknown with the demo of Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown.
It's all a little weird.
Mr. Kim, we're Starfleet officers. Weird is part of the job.
But before I go further, thanks for checking out my video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more of my Star Trek, video game, and other miscellaneous content. Keep those hailing frequencies open on the other social media sites, and a big thank you to my channel members for supporting the channel. If you'd like to buy me a cup of tea and support my work, consider joining up on my channel. Be great to have you aboard. While the game begins with the premiere episode Caretaker, it starts partway through the episode with Ensign Harry Kim and newly released bad boy Tom Paris's arrival on Voyager. Hey wait! Where's DS9? Where's Harry hanging out at Quark's? Where's Quark trying to sell him useless crap? Where's Tom rescuing Harry? Heck, what's going on with Janeway's hair? She didn't have that hair until a couple of seasons into the show. We should be seeing Bunhead Janeway right now! Heck, what about the first officer? You know, the one that decided to get out of his chair and go for broke when she told everyone to brace for impact? What's going on here? Admittedly, this isn't off to the greatest start. I'm not the biggest fan of Voyager. I like it well enough, but it never reached its full potential in my opinion. But even I recognize details that this demo just gets wrong, and details that wouldn't have been that difficult to make right. I mean, is it just me, or is Harry way too wide-eyed and skittish in this game? And Tom? Just who the hell do you think you are? Look, I get he was just let out of prison, but he wasn't quite thumbing his nose at authority this much in Caretaker, especially to the one who got him out of prison. Captain Janeway observes the swirling chaos from the view screen, a subtle smile playing on her lips? This makes Janeway sound like an adrenaline junkie, which really wasn't the character. Called into dangerous situations to help people? Sure, but it's not like she was actively looking for trouble for shits and giggles. And look, I know it sounds like I'm being very nitpicky over minor details, and I am. But if there are details that even someone who isn't super well versed in Voyager can pick up, what are the bigger Voyager fans going to say?
No.
But if I'm gonna be fair here, I can cut the demo some slack on limitations, like why DS9 doesn't appear, or why Janeway's original first officer isn't on the bridge, just because they'd have to be modeled and programmed into the game. Or even why some conversations take place on the bridge rather than on away missions like in the show, just because so many scenes would have to be rendered for multiple episodes. But dialogue and bumper screens, I have a hard time overlooking. And yes, I know the game is about making your own choices and changing up the timeline. It's just that we haven't even split the timeline yet for some of those minor differences to make sense. But while the demo is loose with some of the details, you know how the story goes. Voyager is sent into the Badlands to track down a Maquis ship commanded by Chakotay, it gets tossed into the Delta Quadrant by the Caretaker array, and the ship is completely trashed.
Repair crews, seal off hull breach on deck 14.
And this is where the game begins. In this demo, you get a nice sampling of the different gameplay mechanics, which I would divide into 3 categories: the ship, away team missions, and space battles. Let's start with the ship.
Talk about your fixer-upper.
Alright, first things first, cleaning up the ship and getting it running again, which requires resources you collect from neighboring planets and selecting your approach with different risks, dark green yielding the highest rewards, and red punishing you with setbacks and damage. Now I know risk is our business, not to mention the riskier the road, the greater the profit, but for the most part, I played it safe. Look, it's too early in the game to go for broke. I mean, look what happened to Sir Runs-A-Lot here. Collecting deuterium will allow you to power the ship and get out of gray mode, while collecting duranium will allow you to repair various rooms throughout the ship, as well as build new ones. Provided life support is powered on that floor, and you clean out enough crap from enough spaces. Each of these projects will require a certain amount of time, or cycles, which you can progress forward manually or travel to different planets to pass the time. Certain rooms like the transporter room and sickbay are in fixed locations and will need to be repaired in order to progress the story, but otherwise, you can customize how Voyager is set up with quarters, offices, and even rooms with Borg technology later in the game. You also have a limited number of work teams to build and clean those rooms, so make sure you plan accordingly. After all, Voyager wasn't built in a day. And speaking of your crew, they're not happy. Mainly because they have to sleep in the crappy corridors, so you'll want to build emergency quarters and a mess hall to improve morale, or else you could have a mutiny on your hands.
I hear you're planning a mutiny.
You might also want to get them better food because those emergency rations aren't making you any friends. Well, except for Chief O'Brien.
Miracle of science, these little combat rations. Timed release formula of all the nutrients the body needs for 3 days.
Listen, when you've been subjected to kelp buds, plankton loaf, and sea berries, anything will look good. Now try the Leola root stew, Chief. Now as much as I quibbled about minor details before, I do like the challenge of maintaining the food supply on Voyager. It's accurate to the early show when they were limiting use of the replicator and they had to stomach Neelix's cuisine. I can see this getting annoying as the game goes on, but I do appreciate the challenge. There are also little quests that help boost morale, or lower it if you fail. I didn't see too much of them in the demo, but I imagine they'll become more important in the full game. But of course, Star Trek doesn't take place entirely on the ship. You'll have to send some of your crew on away missions and make choices. Now, if you ever played the mobile game Star Trek Timelines, away missions in Across the Unknown work very similarly. Each mission has challenges, which have a couple of approaches that require certain skills, which is how you should pick your away teams. Your away team members perform in these challenges with the correct skill, where they'll either pass or fail. These skills can additionally be combined among the away team for certain challenges for the chance of a critical success. However, after each challenge, your officer will be fatigued and perform with lower stats until they get a chance to rest. While most choices just move the mission forward, some have lasting consequences, which is where your game can deviate from the show. For example, when Tom and Harry beam to the Caretaker array and find the Maquis crew asleep, I had Harry attempt to wake B'Elanna up, but instead of keeping them at the array sent them to Voyager and kept Tom and Chakotay, which is clearly different from the show. In the demo, this just meant that I had Harry and B'Elanna for away missions, while Tom and Chakotay were unavailable. Inversely, if you choose to wake up Chakotay, you'll have Tom and Chakotay available for away missions, while Harry and B'Elanna spend some time on Ocampa, getting infected.
What are these things? We really don't know.
No matter what you pick though, all roads eventually lead to everyone getting back to Voyager. And of course, as you play through the game, you'll collect different crew to use on missions. Only a handful are available in the demo, but there's quite a few open slots. I imagine we'll see characters like 7 of 9, Icheb and the Borg Kids, maybe even Tuvix.
Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
Heck, the Tuvix choice is shown in the trailers, so if you ever wanted to keep Tuvix at the cost of Tuvok and Neelix, that might very well be in your future. Who's to say? The full game isn't out yet. Lastly, there are space battles, though it's more that you give general orders on whether Voyager takes an offensive or defensive position, and the battle plays out for you until you pause and give new orders. But also you can fire torpedoes. You can also assign crew to certain positions, which will give you special abilities and bonuses during battles, but honestly, I didn't find the space battles all that engaging, and if there was an option to skip them, I would probably take it. Now, I've played through this demo twice, with the only major difference between the two playthroughs is whether Chakotay and Tom or Harry and B'Elanna are beamed over to Ocampa. Whichever you choose, it all leads up to the big one. Destroy the array or use it to go home. Continue on with Voyager's 7-year run, or go back and eventually help out with the Dominion War. Maybe Chakotay can share a cell with Michael Eddington, and we can all avoid the whole Tuvix debate before it even starts. Okay, so the first time around, I destroyed the array, and history was allowed to progress normally until the next time Kathy decides to reset the timeline. But let's see what happens if— nope, it still wouldn't let me use the array to go home. Now, I hear you can successfully get back to Earth and avoid Gilligan's Quadrant for the next 7 years. But I wasn't going to play through the demo a third time just for that, so it's stuck in the Delta Quadrant and the end of the demo. Though I feel like Chakotay should be mad at me for the next 7 years for trying to use the array. But you know what? This demo is pretty okay. The gameplay isn't difficult, and it's satisfying cleaning up Voyager and customizing the ship the way you want. I can see some features like morale and food getting annoying, or even game ending, which is why I'd love to see multiple save slots in this game. But I also appreciate the challenge behind them. I'm also pretty sure the game is basically going to be a simplified or condensed version of the show, which I have mixed feelings about because I wish it had some of those smaller details I mentioned earlier, but I still had fun with the demo. Now, there weren't any voiceovers in the demo, but they are supposed to be in the full version of the game, so in the meantime, here's me trying to do some character voices. Captain, life support systems are failing! Captain, life support systems are failing! Hours? But we were just there, right, Tom? Tom? What are you doing? The array's our only way out of here. You can't. I can, and I will. Great. Now I'll definitely miss my next Outmeet review. A misbehavior review should not be your primary concern at the moment, Mr. Paris. Commander, I'd like to offer you the position of Voyager's first officer, considering I apparently never had one. Now, as of this video, the release date has yet to be announced. But was this demo enough to convince me to buy this game when it finally does come out? Probably not. At least not right away. At the end of the day, it's still not the Star Trek game I wanted to see. A first or third person adventure where I can interact with the characters and feel part of the story. There's just something so impersonal about staring into the bridge and watching what the characters do without directly interacting with them. At that point, I'd probably rather watch the show, and it's going to take more to convince me to buy this kind of game. It's alright for what it is, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get it either. Not to mention, it's digital only? Listen, Elite Force on PS2 might have its flaws, but it looks pretty dang good on my shelf.
Tuvok, put Ensign Monroe in the brig.
But that's all I have about the Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown demo for right now. If you haven't already, check out the demo on Steam and try it out. It's free! And to those who've already tried it, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What are your hopes for the full game? Please leave comments below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Waz Reviews. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends. Until next time.
Mr. Paris, set a course
for home.